Hey, it's Lucas from AstroJolo. I would like to present you today new AstroLink Mini with integrated USB hub. The new version of AstroLink is a little bit longer than the previous one, but other dimensions remain the same. Let's take a look into the inputs and outputs of the AstroLink USB version. At the rear side there is new power inlet. This is XT60 socket that provides very stiff and low resistant connection, so no voltage dropout will occur anymore. As in the old AstroLink, 3 switchable outputs and 1 additional permanent output. For example, you can put it you can take power from here to the mini PC or power anything that should be always powered, just a split of the input voltage. Then on this side there is 2 input for sensors. AstroLink Mini USB will work with different types of sensors. Here you can put the humidity, temperature, sky temperature, pressure, and maybe in the future other types of sensors. These inputs are equivalent, so you can put any of the sensors to any of these input. There will be also additional splitter in the future. Focuser stepper motor output is different. It's not DB9 socket anymore. It's 6-pin socket of this type. And dew heaters output regulated PWM as in the old AstroLink, works in the same way. Here in the front you can see LED indicator and USB input. It's a type of B, USB 3.0, and auxiliary input. It's 4-pin for future expansions or future purposes. On this side, 3 outputs from the integrated USB hub plus a 5-volt regulated voltage output. You can drain from these sockets up to 3 amperes of power, and basically this is it about the input and outputs of the new AstroLink. Digital and analog part of the AstroLink 4 Mini USB is internally isolated. So for data stream there is optical isolation between digital and analog part, and for the power supply there is galvanic isolation, so ground, so minus of the power are not connected to each other. And now the AstroLink 4 Mini USB peripherals should be more resistant to ground loop problems or any other disturbances. So now let's take a look into the software AstroLink panel. To start working with AstroLink, first thing you need to do, of course, is to install software. Software is available at the shop astrojolo.com/astrolink page, and here is software for the old AstroLink version and also for the new one. 3 pieces of software are available. First one is the panel, so this is the control panel of the device. Another thing is AstroLink ASCOM local server driver, so this is ASCOM driver set for all devices in the AstroLink, and the firmware, so every time the firmware will gain new functionalities or some bugs will be removed, new firmware with instruction how to update it will appear here. Assuming you have installed the ASCOM server driver and panel, you may start the panel, and then, well, I will briefly go over the sections and settings and functionalities, but all the things are in the manual in the PDF document, so here you will find all the details. 2 modes of connection as in the previous version, directly connecting to the serial port and to the device, and recommended ASCOM. So in this case you will be connected via ASCOM driver, you need to select the AstroLink 4M focuser driver, open the properties and set. This driver is common for all versions of AstroLink. So for version 4 mini USB, you need to select this speed. You can check test port. And the AstroLink has been detected. Save, okie dokie, and connect. After a moment, you should hear double beep and the device is connected. So now you can control all the things. From here, starting from the focuser, position of the focuser in steps in millimeters. Here you can move the focuser with fine movements, 20, you can of course change this value, or coarse movement, this 20 multiplied by 5, or any other value you will choose between 2 and 10. Of course you can move this focuser stepper driver to the specific position, like 100 and 1200 go, and you can take stop. If you would like to stop it, this icon of the motor is switchable. You can turn it on or on off. Its color means if this motor is working, is idle, or is idle but holding torque is provided. In this case it's blue. Compensation amount, it's about the compensation. You will read more about it in the manual. And how to use compensation with script, the automatic mode and manual mode, etc, etc. And settings. Here you can, for example, add preset position, like if you know this position is for your eyepiece or for your camera is relevant, then you can add the position with the value and with the name, like for example my favorite or not my favorite camera. So this will be here now, and you can recall it every time. If you right click on it, you can edit or delete it, etc. And then course move, we already discussed it, and settings. Settings, it's about maximum focuser position. You need to determine if it's reversed or not. You may also put it step size, and you can apply backlash of your motor, but this backlash value is works only for AstroLink panel. If you connect to the driver with other ASCOM device, like for example Maxim, or not no ASCOM device but ASCOM software like Maxim or Focus Max, then this will not be used, because Maxim Focus Max, for example, has their own backlash management. Display motor graphic, it's here as we discussed. Motor, here you put the motor parameters. There are a few presets like unipolar, bipolar, microstepping preset, because new AstroLink works also in microstepping mode by bipolar motors. You can put here speed and accelerator and motor current up to 1.5 ampere holding torque, and stepper type unipolar, microstep, fine coarse movement, microstep, fine movement, etc, etc. And temperature compensation, you can enable it, put the coefficient, put the threshold. So once the compensation is more than this threshold and compensation mode is automatic, it will be applied. If it's manual, then you need to apply it manually by clicking compensate or by running a script. Take a look into the documentation for details. Last thing here is the set focuser position. So if focuser position is out of sync, you know it should be, for example, now 160, 1600, you can set it like here, and it will be set. So this is it for this focuser stepper control. Regulated output. Yeah, there are two outputs. You can connect your two cup heaters or fans or anything. You can set it to any value between 0 and 100%. It can be also set to heat. So now the heat power is proportional to the relative humidity, and you can also put it to auto. So now the output will be regulated to reach the set point temperature. See in the manual for the details how it works. In the settings here we have labels, so you can name this field anything you want. Startup values, so once the AstroLink is powered up or reset, this value will be applied. Now here there are more values and parameters about the automation. So please take a look into the manual for the details and the output frequency of the regulated output. Another section is power. So here input voltage is displayed and the total current that is drained is also shown, and energy consumed from the time the device was powered on or resetted. And here in the settings you can switch the alerts, and so once the value in any of these fields will be over the threshold, it will alert you with the buzzer or system sound. You can turn on protection. This is hardware protection, so if the input voltage or output current is about specified value for the time longer than protection sensitivity in milliseconds, then outputs will be turned off. And in advanced there is the calibrate AstroLink current sensor and analog digital conversion coefficient values. Please take a look into the manual for details about it, how to use it, not so often hopefully. And going down we have the switchable outputs. So yeah, no big deal here, 3 outputs, there is also 4th output that is permanently on. These 3 can be switched on. In the settings you can set the labels for it, and you can set the power on state for each output. Lockdown just locks it, so now it cannot be accidentally switched on or off. And the sensors. So our AstroLink USB version has 2 equivalent sensor input, but there can be more than 2 sensors connected to the device. You need to purchase an optional splitter if you would like to put more than 2 sensors. Currently 2 sensors are connected. First one is universal humidity temperature sensor, and to the second input there is the sky temperature sensor connected. So you have here displayed all the values from the sensors, and also temperature change from the given point of time. You can reset this value, you can monitor it. There is some graphics that shows you how the current status, how the current environment conditions are. All the things can be configured in the settings. So here we have also a temperature alert can be triggered. Sky temperature warning is also kind of alert. Cloud sensor, you can set the threshold values of the temperature difference between ambient and sky temperature, then proper graphic icon will be shown. And icons, these 2 icons, the value that they indicate may have different sources. So you can select it here, and please take a look into the manual for the more details on this. What else we have here? Stay on top, it's just keeps the AstroLink panel on the top. You can also switch on and on buzzer. When you click on the logo, there will be information about the firmware and software versions you have installed. Here, these are charts that you know from the previous AstroLinks as well, with all the options that already have been there. So please take a look to the instruction manual as well, and the notes panel, so you can put any note here during the session. After session it will be preserved between sessions. Okay, in the bottom left corner there is the settings. So here are all the settings windows. You can also call them from here. These are the same. At the top there is compensation calculator. So here you can this tool you can use to actually calculate the compensation value from the compensation coefficient and put it directly to the focuser settings. And manual control, it's for future purpose. When you have connected the remote manual controller to the AstroLink, then you need to switch this thing on. Last two positions is reset device to factory defaults. If there is some problems with your settings and you cannot couple with it, you may just reset this to factory defaults. After some time, when you call this function, after some time you will be asked to cycle the power of the device, and after that all the settings will be set to factory defaults and settings. So if you have all the settings already set and you are happy with it, you may save it to the file and back it up. So once you need, for example, to reset the device, you can load this again, or if you install this panel to another machine, you can load the settings here. What else? Yeah, there is a status bar at the bottom that displays some information, and the connection monitor. So here you have the information in which mode it is connected, and the green means it's connected and red means the actual data is transferred. Well, yeah, I think that's it for the panel. Yeah, just to show you, if you are connected into the ASCOM mode, you may also connect to the focuser, of course, with different software. Like, for example, I'm gonna try to connect with Maxim. So you may see if this is in the position 160, these values. Now you have two software connected to the device, and when you move the focuser, of course it will be updated in every software you are connected from. Yeah. I think this is it for this brief introduction. Thank you for being patient. I hope you will be happy with your AstroLink 4 USB device. Clear nights.